Right. Hello.
Mm-hmm. Go.
Would you like me to leave off or start over?
Just leave off.
Okay. Well, let's see, Zach. Okay.
How could this be?
How could this be? Said Zachariah. Me and my wife Elizabeth are both old of age. I don't think that is possible, thought Zachariah. And since God knew that the words of man were very strong, God closed the mouth of Zachariah so he could not speak until the birth of his son John. When the people outside of the temple saw that Zachariah could no longer speak, he realized that that he must have seen a vision. And Elizabeth became pregnant and of old age, and 6 months later, there's a young virgin named Mary, like a little older than me, and she was engaged to marry Joseph. And one day, the same angel, great Gabriel, came and told her of the good news that she was found glory in God's eyes, and she was to have a son and to be the Messiah, and she was to name him Jesus. But Mary was afraid. But the angel Gabriel said, "Do not be afraid." And Mary asked, "How could this be? No man has ever touched me." But Gabriel said, "You will receive with God." And Mary said, May the Lord's will be done. I am the Lord's humble servant." And the angel Gabriel also said to Mary, your aunt's cousin, Elizabeth, is also received in her old time, and you are to visit her. And so that is what Mary did. She visited Elizabeth for 3 months, and until the time that John was to be born. And when Elizabeth saw Mary, the child John leaped in her womb, and Mary sings her song of praise, but I don't know it word for word. And she says, but I remember that she says that everyone from generation to generation shall call her blessed. And after John's birth, they're trying to decide what to name the baby. And most of the people wanted to name him Zachariah, after his father. But Elizabeth said his name shall be John. And finally, after 9 months, and after the birth of John, Zachariah, John's father, finally spoke and said that his name was to be John. He also wrote it on a tablet, but he spoke too. And so his name was John. And let's see. And then when Mary returned to her hometown, and when everyone found out about Jesus in her womb and that she was pregnant, Joseph, whom she was engaged to, wanted to break up the engagement. But since he was a humble man, he wanted to do it quietly. But then, in a dream, Joseph learned that God visited Joseph in a dream and told Joseph that it was because of God that Mary had received that made Mary get pregnant, and that he was supposed to name the baby Jesus. And in that time, three wise men saw, and there was a star that made three wise men realize that the Messiah was about to be born. And they headed off. And when Herod found out about this, he was very mad and disturbed, as was everyone in the kingdom. And he told the three wise men, and he decided that since they were supposed to go to Bethlehem, he wanted every man and his family were to go to Bethlehem for taxes. And so Joseph and pregnant Mary headed their journey to Bethlehem, which was Joseph's hometown. But luckily, since Herod thought that the baby was to be born of a rich family, they did not find Joseph and his family and did not suspect them to be born of the Messiah. And as Jesus' parents walked into the town of Bethlehem, all hotels and rooms were unavailable. So a kind stranger told them that felt bad for them and said that they could spend the night in the manger. And so, as Mary sat on a donkey, they went to the baby Jesus was born in a manger, and the King of all kings. And after a while, some shepherds in the field saw the star, and then a whole herd of angels told them of all the good news that the Messiah was born, and told them where to find the baby Messiah, Jesus. And when the shepherds found Jesus, they rejoiced. And then later on, the three kings finally made their way to baby Jesus. And they gave him gifts of gold, myrrh, and frankincense. But the three wise men who got a message from God that they were not to return to Herod to tell him that they found Jesus. And they told Joseph and Mary that too. And in the dream, Joseph also was told to leave right away, for King Herod was going to try and kill the child, and he would kill every boy under 2 years of age.